Hey, this is Mo Lunsford at Union Grove Lumber Studios.
And this is the Shed Geek. We want to welcome you to today's episode. Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek podcast. Well into year 4 now, and a returning guest. And I really like it when a returning guest brings along friends to the show, especially such friendly friends. And one with such a cool name that's easy to remember. Joe, do you want to introduce yourself and your guest here today, and then we can start chatting, man?
Yeah, 100%. I'm Joe Ignace. Live in Knoxville, Tennessee. Pretty much lived here my whole life in Johnson City before that, and married to a wonderful wife named Danielle. And I am the owner and founder of the Knowledge Gap Company. We're a business growth and revenue optimization company. And author of the book, The Problem with Potential. And I am here today with one of my consultants, brand new this week, Woody. Woody has sold and managed, so he's done roofing and Chick-fil-A, director managing of Chick-fil-A's. He's managed over $40 million in teams at Chick-fil-A, and he sold over $3.2 million in roofs in 18 months as a roofer. And now he is an esteemed Knowledge Gap business growth consultant.
5 days in, esteemed.
5 days in, he got his first client on the first day in the real estate market, and we're gonna scale Tyler's business. That's a client of ours now. So happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Well, welcome back, and welcome, Woody. Such a cool name. Whenever I met Woody, he's like, if you're not sure, man, if you've ever seen the Toy Story, you remember like Woody, and I'm like, dude, what a great opener. I wish I had a cool name like that. We've actually got a guy named Woody who's very, very like established in the shed world, in the shed hauling industry. As a matter of fact, I think today or tomorrow he's having like his celebrating like 40 years in shed hauling or something like that. So yeah, we went.
Does he ever say, "Is there a snake in my boot"?
Yeah, I don't know.
I've never heard that one before.
We've actually we interviewed him on the show years ago out in South Carolina, but he's just an excellent guy, and he's like a grandfather to the shed haulers in the industry. Just we went out to the shed hauler event that was in South Carolina. I mean, this thing brings like, I don't know, 1,000, 1,200 people in, shed haulers from all across the country, different rigs from all, and he stood up on stage and was kind of talking about some of the history of like, there was no industry, no shed industry. It was just, a job, and guys hauled sheds and built sheds and did what you had to do. And now it's kind of turned into this bigger thing. But yeah, Joe, welcome back. Woody, certainly welcome. So many things to get into, so many cool things happening. Obviously, Joe, last time we really talked about the sales model, sales process whenever you were on. I got some good feedback from that. And man, that's kind of where we meet you. I think you guys said you identify sort of as a revenue growth partner. So if you were in an industry, that might be what you consider it. But my favorite thing is you said we're in the people industry. We're about people, and we're about people who care about people. And that right there caught my attention because the authenticity of that can't be replaced. So, man, what's new? What do we got for the audience today?
Yeah. So, today, I mean, we want to drop some awesome sales knowledge for people, some psychology for if you're a salesperson or business owner that will help you close more sheds and just close in general better, and understanding how to treat people well. And some tips and ideas for the actual owners who have sales teams or sales leaders who manage sales teams. When we work with clients, and this is all, by the way, from the past 60 or 70 businesses that we've been working with. It's based on actually what has been leading to some clients having. This is why we work with a concierge company. They had 956% increase in gross profit compared to last year in 5 months. And so like the things that we're going to be talking about really do work. And we work with companies in all different industries, from international abrasives companies like 10X Engineering to real estate, to insurance, AAA, Allstate, everything in between. Just from our experience, we've developed a system of analyses that we can figure out exactly where the inefficiencies are in the training and the processes and the systems, and help people scale their businesses. And so the reason we're not just sales coaches, or the reason we don't market ourselves in that way, is because we help grow businesses. We don't just train salespeople. Training salespeople is part of is part of the overall goal of growing the revenue, optimizing the revenue, and scaling a business. So that's one of the things that we do, but it's not the overall goal or how we want to brand ourselves. But that's what we've got in store for today. It's going to be fun. And Woody's a good, fun personality, so he'll be the fun part to my sort of
try to bring him up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I always gotta, you gotta know your strengths and weaknesses. And I'm a somewhat serious person, and
it's not a bad thing. You just get passionate about what you're doing.
I get passionate about stuff. And Woody's, he's going to be the entertainer, the fun. I've always needed that in a leadership team.
I guess I'll say too, like part of what you're saying about being in the people business, like we used to always say at Chick-fil-A, we're in the people business. We just happen to sell chicken.
Right.
And like I was in the people business, I just happen to sell roofs and be really good at it.
Yeah.
And like we're in the people business, we just happen to be really good at helping businesses grow because of experiences that we've had with people and systems that a lot of people don't get. And so then they come to us and we're like, yeah, we love people. We love helping people. And we just happen to be really good at putting the systems in place.
Yeah. And I was just saying right before we started, just to repeat it, but, the reason we're excited to be on this podcast, and we like being on this podcast, we can talk about the partnership later, but is really simply because we just like you and how you treat people, and that this is not about, how big it can be, but really adding value to the people that are listening.
Right.
And we like to brand ourselves as that we like working with companies that are in the helping others industry. We're Christians, we're big Jesus people. So, that's why this business is going well in the first place. But so we just know that the audience that you work with is the kind of people that we normally work with and the kind of people that we like to talk to. So.
Yeah, nailed it, man, perfectly for sure. And I love the comments there, Woody. It sounds very Simon Sinek-esque, right? Like find your why. You know what I mean? And when you do find your why, you really tap into that. Steve Wozniak, Steve Jobs. Why you do what you do. Why does Harley Davidson do what they do? Why does John Deere do what they do? Why are they good at what they are? Because they're in the people business. They just happen to be in the product or service they landed in. And I think people who are about people and seeing their growth and taking some enjoyment and seeing others do better, they tend to find themselves in each other on this journey. And I think that's kind of how, we find each other and how we find the people that we work with, our tribe, so to speak. So I think it's absolutely perfect. And I just want to dive into it a little bit more. I got so many questions. Today, we have something truly groundbreaking to discuss. The Zula from Mobino Solar Solutions. This incredible shed ventilation system is set to redefine how we approach air circulation and energy efficiency. A shed ventilation marvel. With 3 robust fans generating 630 CFM, 2 fans usher in a breath of fresh air, while 1 strategically expels stillness. What's groundbreaking? It's solar powered. Harnessing the sun's energy, the Zula is a sustainable dream eliminating electricity costs. Sleek, powerful, and eco-friendly, this system is a game changer for those seeking efficient air circulation without compromising on green values. Visit Mobino's site for more of this innovative solar shed ventilation solution and use the Shed Geek 10 for an extra 10% discount. Just visit www.mobinoSolarSolutions.com. I feel like Woody's going to really enjoy the shed side and like all the things related to sheds. Cause dude, being in roofing, I mean, a roof goes on every shed, or at least it has so far that I've ever seen or sold. So, and there's just, you think sheds, right? Because there could be a mom and pop selling $1 million a year in sheds or $300,000 a year in sheds or something. But then there's businesses out there selling, well over, 100, 200, $300 million a year in sheds. So, and so we sort of fit the gambit in between all of that, right? We try to cover all of that, all those who sell, deliver, build those sheds. And then it gets bigger. They go outside of that into post frame and gazebos and, how big does it get? I don't know. We're just sort of chasing it. We're just kind of like, always trying to find the ceiling, and it's made of glass. So, I think you're really going to enjoy the people, Woody, in the industry, and all that conversation is going to come back. Your commercial, residential roofing experience and all that. I mean, there's shed guys out there on roll formers, for the purpose of building metal sheds and, being able to roll out their own metal and things. And so it's going to be awesome, man. I'm really looking forward to this. So Joe, take it away, man, wherever you want to start. Do you want to start with the partnership? Do you want to talk about that and at least segue from that into sort of what you guys do?
Yeah, sure, man. Absolutely. So yes, Shannon and I was on the show. I mean, I don't even know the date, but around 12 months ago, 10 months, whatever it was, and had a great conversation. Got some phone calls from it, and it just sounded like in the industry, there's just not a lot of like when we work with almost everybody. I just ask them a simple question. It's like, hey, if you had like professional sales training, operation systems training, have you been professionally trained? And the answer 99.9% of the time is no, not really. And it's crazy to me because that means most people are running businesses, are selling in a way that isn't streamlined, fine-tuned, or really in the way that every single person likes to buy. And there's a lot of money on the table, and people don't even realize it's on the table because they're just not going through the right steps. And when I talk about sales too, it's like the right steps aren't pushy. It's not something that's hardcore, you're closing hard or doing whatever. It's just helping clarify the value of your product or service, in this case, sheds, right? How you might help them get set up, whatever, the relationship side. And then how you build a relationship, and just going right back to what we were even just saying about how you're in the people business. It's a differentiating factor. So when you're in a fully saturated market, sheds have been around since, dear God, ancient Egypt. I don't know, right? Like
yeah,
was the first shed
always been an outbuilding out there somewhere, right?
Exactly. So it's a proven market. Like you're going to sell stuff because people need
storage. They need storage, man.
Right. But when you're in a saturated market, you've got to be different and differentiate yourself. And a lot of ways to do that is through your branding and through your mission and vision values coming clearly through how you treat people from the moment they message you on Facebook about a shed or they walk on your lot. It's how you sell the value and how you build that relationship that people struggle with the most. And it's the thing that can be in many ways automated for 80 to 90% of it outside of the conversation. And then that conversation, landing home and aligning with everything that they've seen online, because the statistics nowadays are astronomical that you have to have a good online presence, if you want to be a player in the industry, and so we take all those things into account when we work with people and scale their businesses. And it's been wild because we've seen, 70, 100%, 1,000% increases in profitability and sales. There's this one concierge company. They're just such great people. And they've gone from making 3% net to they're on track to getting into 40% in 5 months. It's just wild. And we like seeing that with people. I'm a big believer that when local entrepreneurs do well, they're the ones who invest in the community. It's really inspiring to us. And that's why we do what we do. We want to inspire people to do what inspires them, And so now working with you, since this is such a big need in any industry, we're now partnering with Shed Geek, which I'm super proud to announce. And we're going to be working on some lead gen with you to help these incredible people, build businesses that improve communities around the country. And so we're really excited about that, being able to do that. And we're hopeful that within just a few months we can have some massive change, because the people who are listening to this are really, really hard workers. I used to sell bookstore to door, and we'd go into small counties, and there'd be small town communities. There are all these shed businesses you drive by, even in small towns.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And so I sort of think of those people, but they were always just the nicest people. They're given to church. They're the ones who are invested in making the county better, the community better. And just, that's exciting for us. So we're excited about this partnership and being added to all the, the marketing emails, the website, all that kind of stuff to help these businesses. And I just know after our first 5, I think people are going to see some pretty substantial changes after just a few months working with us.
Oh, I think that's great, man. Yeah, certainly a lot of salt of the earth, just, grassroots type individuals in this, the backbone of the country, kind of, so to speak, the get up every day, work hard. And it's just, it's really nice to be around that circle of influence. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they influence me and to be better and to do better. And I've found friends for life sort of through this process. So I'm already excited about that. Managing your rent-to-own contracts just got easier with RTO Smart. Designed by leaders in the rent-to-own storage industry, RTO Smart was handcrafted to enable you with the tools needed to manage your own contracts your way without using a third-party rent-to-own company. RTO Smart is your one-stop shop, allowing you to generate contracts and manage customer accounts from start to finish while maintaining simplicity and flexibility. Call us today at 316-618-9396 or visit our website at rtosmart.com to schedule a live demo and discover why RTO Smart may be right for your business. So yeah, basically, we've been talking about, consultation for a long time, and sometimes it gets very muddy on consultation, right? Like even when we expanded into the marketing world, there was always three legs of the table, kind of, the tabletop being the Shed Geek podcast to get the information out and create good content that listeners want to listen to. And then the three legs to hold that up have been, Shed Geek marketing, Shed Geek rent-own, and Shed Geek consultation. We've almost found ourselves in that consultation side without charging for it, Joe, because we just really care enough about the customer that, we spend a lot of time in the customer acquisition time of anything we do. I had someone call me yesterday and he said, "Wow, can't believe you made yourself available for an hour." And I'm like, well, who am I not to make myself available? If there's an hour in the day and I can add value and we can talk and build friendship, man, let's do it. Anybody's welcome to call. Let's call. I don't know that I have anything to add, but if there is value there, I think we all have stories and iron sharpens iron. So let's chat. And I find that whenever you do that, good communication and good stuff comes out of that. When you just begin to like put ideas into motion and talk about them. And I was like, man, I love talking to the shed industry. That's why I do this, is because those inside and outside the industry have value in their stories, and those are their testimonies and things like that. So yeah, we're gonna put a link, and basically the way this will work, I'll try to explain it in this way. I might not always be the most organized consultative person, but I know how to align with the most organized consultative people, and that's Joe and Woody and some of the other partners. So the idea is that, like, you as someone in the shed industry or related industry wants to learn how to grow, wants to know how to acquire more growth, more revenue, wants to understand a little bit more how to install systems and processes, and they need someone to talk to on that. That's a job for somebody, and that's what consultation is. And Joe's going to be part of that network, and any of his partners. So just encourage you guys to call them. They come highly recommended from me. If you trust me, then I ask you to trust them. I wouldn't partner with someone that I didn't trust. So, I mean, that's huge for us here. And yeah, man, so I'm super excited. We're going to have to get the website going, Joe, because like these consultative opportunities are coming faster than we can build, than we can design. But we're going to get it rolling. But for now, if you guys don't get the newsletter, just go to shedgeek.com. You can sign up for the newsletter or contact my wife, Deanna, DEANNA at shedgeek.com. Should get you taken care of. So let's hop into it, Joe. Now that we've got this underway, man, we're rocking and rolling. How can you increase growth and revenue for someone in sheds?
Yeah, spill all the secrets.
Spill all the secrets right now.
Put it all out there.
You ready for 4 hours of content?
Yeah. Let's go, man. I got nothing to do.
And I don't know if you need this, by the way, but our website we can send over to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's knowledgegapconsulting.com. You guys can go there. It'll give you a good rundown of everything we do, from as simple as, hey, you've got a sales guy that you want to sell more and they're kind of greener, or maybe they're even a master, but you believe they can get better, from the individual sales coaching to team sales coaching to business owner, executive level, coaching. We also have a process where we go through an analysis of the entire business and can give you all of the inefficiencies, solutions, vendor options, connections, and even develop assets for you, including scripts, sales presentations, so on and so forth. Just everything to grow the business.
And I'll say too, like, he just said so many things. And if you're in the spot where you're like, I don't really know what they need, but I just hired this guy. He's brand new. He's never sold. I know he's a good guy. I know I want him on my team. We can help cater what that looks like for your business and for you.
It's all
So,
customized.
so if it means every other week we're meeting and talking, then that's awesome. And we want to support in that way. But also if it means, hey, we're doing asset building and, we're making so much more of an impact on your business, like we'll meet, suggest that, like it's a customized solution. It's not a one size fits all. So.
Yeah, we do like a discovery session. We're big believers in getting the full picture before we give any sort of advice. So we just want you to tell us what's going on for like an hour. Really get a good understanding and kind of explain our process in general. But it's a little different for every single person. But the solution that we come up with has worked with everybody we've worked with in the past. So if you can tell us what's going on, we can help you find a solution.
That's awesome,
Sales.
dude. I love what you guys do, and I kind of love the camaraderie here now. It's nice to have a dialogue with like two different people. A lot of times I'm going back and forth with just one other person, and Woody brings a lot of insight to it, and that's awesome, man. I think it's really great.
Hello, shed sellers. Let's take a moment to discuss the shed customer and meeting their expectations. I remember growing up in the neighborhood where a certain percentage of the houses had well-manicured lawns and well-manicured homes. These were the type of individuals who felt it was important to purchase a well-constructed home or vehicle, or maybe equipment to help maintain the quality of the item. As shed manufacturers, we seek to provide a well-built quality shed. We want the customer to feel satisfied that their hard-earned money has been well spent on a product that will last. At LuxGuard, we believe adding high-quality rubber flooring to your line of sheds makes sense to the customer and adds value the customer can appreciate. With each year, sheds are becoming more complex. The customizations we are seeing are virtually endless. LuxGuard not only gives a complimentary aesthetic appearance for their shed, but also protects the floor from spills and keeps cleanup simple. Offer your customer the customer service they seek with LuxGuard. At LuxGuard, we are committed to delivering exceptional customer service and innovative products to help our customers achieve their goals. We strive to meet the evolving needs of the customers. To speak with one of our ready-to-serve customer product specialists, simply call 336-468-4311. To see our product and view an installation video, just visit our website at luxguard.com. LuxGuard, the floor that lasts a lifetime.
Gosh, well, shed folks, typically want to see increase as well as anybody else, right? You know what I mean? They want to see growth, and all the things you're talking about are things that I think a lot of times folks struggle with if they're just getting into retail. Maybe all this new digital storefront conversation and online presence and social presence isn't necessarily something that they really know very well, or if they do, they've already been successful in some area. But something gives you guys the authority to come speak on these things. You've been successful in your own endeavors. And that's what's given you the knowledge to be able to do this. You like what I did there with the knowledge gap? It's giving you the knowledge to do this. I need a little zinger over here. But yeah, lay it on us, man. Give us some more thoughts. Tell the audience why they, would want to work with you, kind of what you do. I want you guys to take the mic and run with it, man. We've got 30 minutes or so for you guys to just give us some thoughts. So I'll try to step back a little.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's clear at this point some of the things that we do. But if you have questions, I mean, if you're at all interested in growth, just like contact us. But we want to just go ahead and just here's some ideas and go through some concepts. It's not going to be customized to every single person listening to this because every single person's different with a different mission, vision, values, why they do what they do, and a different structure, different sales team, and all that kind of stuff. So just really keep in mind when we go through this to soak in the concept. How can I apply the concept to my group? We've got like 5 to 12 different little topics. Woody's going to share some stuff, that's going to be very much, hopefully everyone listening to this is an enjoyer of Chick-fil-A. He's going to have a nice, when I hired Woody, I told him the other day, it's like
Jesus chicken, man. Who don't like Jesus chicken?
That's right. When I was hiring Woody, and training him this week, I was like, hey, you're probably actually going to be even better in the culture building side because of the Chick-fil-A experience and just mass training people to build culture. Whereas my favorite thing I love is sales and just like the recruiting and getting people in the door and hyping it up and scaling and all that kind of stuff. Not to say Woody's not absolutely great at all of those
It's
things.
internal training. Like you're training me and I'm training you.
Yeah, exactly. But he's got what I used to told you the other day is a little bit more patience. It's probably in sort of the leadership, type coaching role sometimes. I understand all the things. I'm great at it. I've recruited 43 people to sell books door to door, like 80 hours a week. Let's go, right? Straight commission. So we're good at all those things, but we're going to have a nice fun play here. So I want to start out though with just for sales people. So if you're a salesperson, if you're by yourself, business owner, solopreneur, as they say it, you're going to want to lean into these next few points. And I'm just going to try to share some situations that I've seen through consulting, some of the changes that we recommended, how we implemented them, and then basically the result of just doing a couple of these things on the top line revenue. And so hopefully it's really helpful for you. But if you're taking notes, if you're just trying to lock something in the brain, if this all you got today was sell value, not price, your business will grow. I was working with an Allstate agency in a small town, Jacksboro, Tennessee. Lovely woman named Casey Allen. She's incredible. It's, again, why I like working with small town, small businesses. It's like so sweet. She was just so incredibly nice to everyone in town. I remember one time she actually artificially lowered her sales to do a Christmas tree like fundraiser, and she'd have people come in, and she spent less time selling and more time on that. So just incredible person. And I remember watching her. One of the things that we do with clients is we like to shadow their sales team to see what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. And so I shadowed her one time and just give me the presentation. And this lovely, incredible woman was selling on price and getting frustrated with people because in insurance, like sheds, everyone thinks that price matters. It's the thing, has to be the thing, And after that presentation, I sat down with her. I said, listen, what makes you different than everybody else? Because I was seeing it. That's one of the values of hiring us is we're an objective third party. We don't think the way you think. That's why it's good. We see things from just like, oh, here's what other people see. And so her service mindedness, how she treated people, she really was more like an insurance consultant. That's really what she was. She wasn't an agent trying to just sell you a policy. She was somebody that was going to follow up with you.
Right.
I'll give you an example of a bad agent that gave me this idea. I had bought a house a couple years ago, an Airbnb, and I had bought an insurance policy for homeowners. Okay. And the guy never followed up with me, and my insurance policy lapsed, and then a storm hit and my roof got torn off.
No, I know a guy.
Actually, how
I know a guy.
Woody, believe it or not.
Don't tell that story.
Yeah.
Save it for the next.
That's right. Save
next
for the next
episode.
Well, that's a teaser for next time. How I Met Woody. But and that all happened, And that guy, because he never followed up with me, it lapsed because I had forgotten because I'm busy, and I had to pay out of pocket to fix part of my roof. It was nice. I mean, God provided in the way that it was not that expensive, and then we got a big booking that basically paid for it, so it ended up working out okay. But I remember just hey, I need to do my homeowners because she was already doing some policies for me because I knew she was going to follow up. I knew she was going to talk to me. She was going to walk me through everything. And so that's a really big deal because when you don't buy insurance for the moments you're expecting, but for the moments you're not expecting, right? And so we rebranded her presentation on selling value. And instead of saying, here's the price, we're a little bit higher, it's more like, hey, listen, people, because she has people that pay higher price all the time. People pay for this because I'm a consultant for you and I'm there all the time helping you. And they pay that extra price all the time because I bring you peace of mind. What I'm doing for you, I bring you peace of mind. I'm in the community, I invest in the schools. I am not the regular big corporate entity. I'm like your insurance consultant. And from that moment on, she went from trying to sell a certain number of policies, let's call it 14, 15 a month. And last month, she sold 45 in a month, which is $44,000 or so in premium from, 25% of that just 3 months ago. And that is the biggest problem I see with people is they try to sell on price and comparison, price, whatever, instead of on the value of what people are getting. Because in reality, when you sell on value, it's you could pay $25 now and replace it every 6 months, or you could pay $200 now and not replace it for 10 years, And if you actually did the math on the value of your time, right, going back and replacing everything once a year, first off, it's more expensive on the 10-year plan. And then also you're wasting a lot of time. You're getting frustrated, right? And so a lot of people, most people like buy into that, but we're not delivering the value in a way that's digestible for people. It's too complicated. It's too messy. There's not enough visuals. People are trying to do this all verbally, and it's really important. And it comes through from the moment you get a Facebook message or the first contact. I want Woody to talk about simplicity sells here in a second, but I just want to give an example of this. Like when someone messages you on Facebook and they say, I do this all the time, by the way, because I'm always looking at sheds because I want a barn dominium suit to like put on a little Airbnb, make a little romantic getaway kind of thing.
I know a guy, like Woody said. I know some people.
Yeah, I know you know a guy. And, so I'll constantly message people, and it's just like a fun habit for me to just see like, okay, like, is their sales process good, because it's technically, it could be lead generation, I guess, at the end of the day, right? And I'm always looking, I'm like, hey, like I always hit that, is this still here? Whatever that little phrase is, that's like copy and pasted, right? Do you still have
Is this still available?
Is this still available?
And then,
do you have more
and then
photos?
They'll send me back. This is what they send me back, Shannon. Ready? Yes. And so while that's great, if you're listening to this and you're the guy or the gal who says yes, you're doing it really wrong. You're missing out on hundreds, if not thousands of sales, depending on how many messages you get. Okay. What you need to say is, yes, it's available. And you need to sell them on what the next step is, number one, and also the value, how you treat people. Hey, yeah, it's absolutely available. The way we make sheds, insert value. The way we make sheds is handcrafted, blah, 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 blah. Just real quick blurb. The way we treat our clients is we like to build long-term relationships with them and be supportive in helping them find stuff. We're very customized, for example. And basically the next step for us is just jump on a quick phone call and see what you're looking for so we can help you send some solutions. When would be, and this is a call to action, by the way, you got to have a call to action. Otherwise nothing gets done. When would be a good time to hop on the phone? Would a video message call work, or what's your phone number? And if you just did that, you get people on phone calls and you get them into your sales pipeline. And people miss that because they're not selling the value right there. And it's not simple.
Whole key to having, plenty to sell is having your pipeline full. I mean, just that one little thing that sometimes people forget is not everybody makes a decision in the moment. Not everybody makes a decision today, but they will make a decision eventually. And you at least want to be top of mind, if nothing else. So like, I try to be consistent because I don't want to let any of my clients or potential clients down. But at the same time, I don't want to be like overly aggressive, right? So it's like trying to figure out that balance of like, man, I need to be consistent, always present, top of mind. But man, I try to keep that pipeline full all the time. If I were selling sheds, I'd want to be talking to 10 or 12 people effectively. I don't want to do it ineffectively, but I want to have 10, 12, 20, 30, whatever it is, people constantly. I mean, some of the lead generation we're doing, 80, 100, 200 leads per month. And I'm like, man, if you're tracking that, I know we used to track and try to close 1 out of every 4 that came onto the sales lot. And I was like, if we can bring you 200 leads, would 25 sales this month do you good? What would that be worth? Where's some value in that?
Hello from the Shed Geek. Let's take a walk through My Shed 3D. With My Shed 3D, your company can simply add a 3D builder button to its website. Once the customer clicks onto the 3D builder button, they will enter some basic information to get started. Remember, this information is captured in your Leads tab, whether or not the customer designs a building. This is very valuable information that turns a cold call into a warm lead. Next, they begin the design of their shed by selecting a primary use, a style, and a size that best fits their need. My Shed 3D has multiple styles that are available and consistent with traditional and barn styles within the shed industry. However, if you offer a customized or non-traditional style, My Shed Solutions can build that design for future use. We can also save on some design features that make it easy to adjust without a major rebuild or added fees for design changes. For instance, want to offer a steeper roof pitch? Just navigate to the Settings tab. Then click the Building Models. Click Edit Building and just enter the new roof center height, and the design changes will reflect on this style option. This will save you thousands versus traditional design changes that need to build a whole new style to match your design. From here, simply choose the style, siding, and color. Then choose a trim and roofing style and color. Next, let's add a door. That was goofy. Next, let's add a door. It is required to add a door to move forward with the design, as at least one ingress-egress option is necessary. Then add some design changes for personalization. Maybe some windows, or a porch, or some interior shelving. Next, just click Save Design and the customer will receive an automated text with all the features of the design to the email address entered at the beginning. From here, they can edit the design, view the details of the design, pay now to order the shed, or click Rent to Own to complete the necessary steps to purchase a shed they designed with My Shed 3D. The design enters the admin panel as a quote, and this is where the manufacturer can update the progress of the design once a deposit is taken. My Shed, from design to delivery, we have you covered.
We get that question all the time, like, what do your packages cost? And we're like, man, we have some basic packages on different things, but a lot of it is really custom. Like, what do you want to do? Because you could spend, and we've had people who spend, I don't know, $12,000 a year to $500,000 a year. So like, what size are you? What do you want to accomplish? Where do you want to grow? Sky's the limit. It's really trying to figure out what you want to do rather than trying to like have you fit our mold. We want to fit yours. So
I think maybe a way to look at that sales process too is like you're saying, when do you reach out to them? How often? I think of it kind of like a GPS, right? When you put a location in your GPS, like, where you want to go. Okay, we're going to go, like we went to the zoo last Saturday, which was actually really fun. I've got a little girl. She's almost 2 years old.
Oh, that's great.
This is a bad dad moment. I've been a bad dad because for the last year, my wife's been like, we should go to the zoo. And she wanted me to be the person that went to the zoo with Harper for the first time. So she's had so many opportunities to go with friends. And she said no, because she wanted me to be there. So now I've gone. They can go to the zoo whenever they want. We got memberships. So we put the zoo in the GPS, right? And we drive there. I follow the directions on the GPS. I needed help getting there. I admitted it. Follow the directions. If I were to go past the zoo and not follow the GPS is going to say, okay, do a U-turn in 300 feet. It's going to keep saying that until I turn the GPS off. It's just like the sales process. They typed in sheds on Google, whatever. They looked it up. They came to your lot. You're going to keep giving them the next steps until they say, either we arrived at our destination, they purchased something from you, you made the relationship, you sold it, or they pressed end and they're gone. And that's okay. You can still follow up, right? It's going to come in your recent searches on Google. They're going to keep reminding you where you wanted to go. But that's our job as salespeople, right? Is to provide that level of guidance through the process until they either say, we're here, we got it, or end. So I feel like that's maybe a good example, as you're saying, like, how often do you follow up? Just keep helping them until they don't need help, right?
Yeah. Think of it like in general, a confused prospect doesn't buy, and people don't know what to do to purchase from you.
Right.
They don't understand it. They're like, they come on, they're like, so what happens?
Yeah.
And if you're not helping them through what happens, they're just like, I don't like this. I have to like work. And if your prospect is doing the work, doing the math, doing the thinking, doing the searching, you're really missing out on the service aspect of differentiation. And they're going to just close a lot slower because like, I've been shopping for sheds for a long time. I've never gone on a lot because I'm not ready to buy or whatever. But if I was ready to buy, I would just want someone to be like, hey, this is what I want. Find me it. Please.
You're going to have a shed by the end of this podcast.
Yeah. If they found something, right? I get a bunch of phone calls. If they found me something that's exactly what I wanted, it's just like, okay, sweet. Thank you. Like, that sounds perfect. Like, just do the work for me. It's one of the biggest issues I see with a lot of people. It's like, oh, like here, read this super long thing. And it's like, whoa, like I am not going to read that. I'm busy. Yeah. And that's how everybody feels. Right. Exactly. So it's got to be so simple. It's got to be easy. It's got to deliver value, right? Deliver value clearly.
And when you want to deliver value, I'll go a step further to say, like, find the need, meet the need, make the sale. And it's that simple. And if you don't know the need, like, that's where you start.
Ask questions.
Yeah. Just get them talking.
You ask questions until it's super clear, like why they're here, right? So it's just as important to have your why or mission, vision, values as a company is to understand the why of the person in front of you.
Yeah.
The why they're there, the vision, right? This is called selling the future. It helps sell value. Okay. where their destination is where you're going to get them if you're doing well at the sales process. They come on, the dream is to, I don't know, insert whatever dream. And you're like, wow, that's awesome. Okay, so how do you, what's that look like? How did that feel? Okay, if I could get you something to get to that dream faster, does that sound like something I could, would be pretty helpful to you? And like that question itself, that's how you sell. Boom, you're ready. You're ready to rock and roll.
It's
like,
acquiring.
That's like a yeah.
It seems like it's always acquiring information. I mean, that's what, I've heard before. You always have the permission to ask another question if you've asked one and they answer it. So then ask another question because you're trying to acquire information, data. Data gives you what you need to know in order to serve them best. So like I'm, when people say, what do you do? And you stall on the podcast, I ask a question of my guests. I ask a question because I'm trying to tap into whatever that is up there in their noggin that they can just put out audibly that makes sense to somebody, that they can just explode in conversation. And then all of a sudden, once they start warming up, all that stored up data begins to become audible. And then all of a sudden it translates into something that's like, wait a minute, this is real. I can go do this. I can use this. And it's the same way in sales. Like, give me what do you need? Well, we're trying to put our Christmas stuff away. We're trying to have something for our lawnmower. Okay, protecting your lawnmower is imperative. Like, we recognize that now. So like, I don't need to tell you about maybe all of the product benefits all of a sudden. I need to help you protect your lawnmower.
Yes. Keep it simple, right? Keep it about them, not some general. Nobody likes being sold to. That's so like everyone loves to buy.
Right.
I mean, I think it's 80% of the market, by the way, is women shoppers. People love buying.
Yeah.
Right? We love buying things that we like. We hate being sold. And so if they feel like you're trying to fit them into a mold or sell them on values that they don't even care about, or features that just seem like excessive to them. Man, who was I talking to? I was doing an upgrade on some device and I was getting glasses. Oh, Shannon, I was getting glasses and I went to VisionWorks and they've got, 12 salespeople on their floor or whatever. I get in there for I don't know if this doctor's real. Sorry, VisionWorks. I can't tell. It just seems like they tried to sell me. I walk in there and the atmosphere is like, oh God, I'm going to be sold to. This sucks. I hate this. And, the salespeople are asking me questions and then they're like, go back, see the doctor. And doctor's like, let me get you a prescription. I'm like, okay, this seems like a funnel to get the money, right? Like for my insurance company. So I get out there and I'm like, they're like, pick out some frames about this, whatever. I find a frame. And he's like, so like, what kind of lenses do you want? And I'm a person who's never had glasses and I don't want glasses. And I'm mad that I'm even here to get glasses. I want my eyes to be good, right? So emotionally, I'm not connected. Like, dude, I don't know. I don't even.
The ones that I can see through?
Yeah, like, what are you asking me? Like, you're asking a non-expert an expert question. That's terrible. Like, a good salesperson always asks questions they know the answer. Like, they know how you're going to respond, right? So when they say, what lens do you want? He has no idea what I could possibly say. I could say, I don't want any lenses. I mean, that's on the table,
Right.
just to be snarky with them.
I have some glasses with no lenses, just so you know.
That's right. There you go.
Introducing ShedHub, your ultimate shed marketplace. Are you in the shed business and looking to connect with more buyers? Look no farther than ShedHub. ShedHub is a game-changing, two-sided marketplace that brings shed sellers and buyers together in one easy-to-use platform. Think of it as the Amazon of sheds. ShedHub isn't just any ordinary marketplace. It's a powerhouse that ranks on the first page of Google's search results in 91% of U.S. cities. With over 1.2 million impressions on our website last month alone, ShedHub is where you want to be to showcase your sheds to a wider audience. And here's the best part. For a limited time, you can join our exclusive Next 500 plan for just $39 per month. Simply head over to geek.shedhub.com to sign up and start attracting more shoppers to your shed listings. As the Shed Geek, I am here to endorse ShedHub and invite you to join me on this journey to boost your shed business. Whether you're struggling with website visibility or simply want more eyes on your product, ShedHub has got you covered. Don't miss out on this opportunity. to supercharge your shed sales. Visit geek.shedhub.com today and make your mark in the shed industry with ShedHub.
And so, it's because I'm on the computer some, and I just need like some blue light special things, and just to avoid getting nearsighted or something. And so
He doesn't actually need glasses.
I'm not a believer in glasses.
Not at all.
I'm just kidding. I am. But you get the idea. So he's asking me this question. I'm like, well, which ones will help me in my situation based on the prescription in your hand? He's like, well, it's really up to you. And I'm like, dude, what? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Like, what does the prescription say? I want that one that fits in my insurance that costs me no extra money.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I had to like spell it out for him, and you should immediately tell the person in front of you the small package or their big package. Their small package, like I was in that scenario, your job is to quit wasting time trying to sell me and close on the small package and go to the next person. And you've got to realize that that's part of the win process. And so you got to make the questions more simple. Hey, listen, are you just looking for, the simple solution, or do you want to know about like some higher end stuff? That's the question. It doesn't matter the answer to. It tells you what to do in the next step, right? And then, okay, you just want the simple stuff. Here's what I recommend. I think you ought to, the simplest thing, this is covered by insurance. Does that sound good to you? And you close right then. Does that sound good to you as a closing question? That sounds great. Sweet. Let's sit down. Let's get it all finished up. Let's get you out of here. That would have made me so happy. But instead, I'm waiting like an hour for this guy to like figure it out, and he's asking me all these stupid questions. And I'm pissed. I'm like, this work sucks. And that's how I left that lot, as you would say. And so when they come onto your lot, right, ask yourself, like, how are you making them feel? One of the analysis that we go through is a customer experience analysis. When they walk onto the lot, what's the immediate emotion that they're met with? Because sales decisions are emotional, and we only make decisions when we're excited or most of the time. Otherwise, we're procrastinating and we're thinking about it. And so we want to make people feel great when they come onto the lot. When they come into our studio, and they're one of our clients locally in Knoxville, we're like, hey, do you want something to drink? Hey, we have a soda. Hey, we have a snack. Are you hungry? And that in itself is so different compared to 99% of other businesses that they're like, wow, I like coming here.
Yeah.
We want people to feel like they enjoy coming here, even if they don't buy today. We want them to know it's a good atmosphere. It smells nice.
And when you create an atmosphere, it helps create consistency.
Yes.
And so like that goes so much further than just the experience. Like, hey, when they come back to, like, this is a funny thing. We have our church meets in a high school, Bearden High School. And I don't know if you've ever smelled a high school, but like, they suck. It's such a bad smell. So we have like a heart and soul scent that we plug in, and it's not like labeled heart and soul. I think it's like Bath and Body Works or something. Yeah. But we have a scent that we plug in all over everywhere that a guest is going to be, because we want them to think, okay, it actually smelled good in there. Like, it didn't smell like a high school. We clean the bathrooms every Sunday morning, and we put that scent in the bathroom. So that's creating that environment and atmosphere that we want them to experience, because we want them to have consistency. And hey, when we get a building, Brian, gosh, let's get a building. Yeah, when we get a building, like that scent's going to be there, and they're going to know, oh, this is the environment of Heart and Soul. And like, while the physical location's different, it's still the same environment. And so we're creating the same thing here, where like, yeah, right now we're in a really cool office that doesn't have any windows. That's like actually still a sweet spot because we've made it what it is. Right. But hey, the people that we're coaching and consulting with that are doing videos in here are going to have the same experience, same brand, same environment when we're in the sweet barn dominium that we're going to build. Like, that's right. It's just creating that consistency.
That brand recognition, the brand recognition and staying on brand across the, I use all the time. I know you guys got one there in Knoxville, but I use Buc-ee's as a perfect example. Like, you want to create the Buc-ee's shed lot. You want to create the Buc-ee's experience on your shed lot. And, I know a lot of our guys drive semis, so they're like, no Buc-ee's, because, there are no semis or whatever. But if you really think about it, man, what you're going to be met with when you get there. Clean bathrooms, clean, floor,
a million people,
food, a million. yes. So many people greeting you, welcome in, and like, maybe you can't create that on that large scale, but maybe you can create that in your small, unique situation, to where people are always going to talk about when I went and met that guy or that gal at that lot. And then they're going to refer you, because they're going to get the same experience whenever they come in. But you're going to welcome them in. Maybe it's going to be the welcoming smells, as opposed to, just keeping your shed lot, like cooped up or whatever, or you just had lunch or something, or who knows what's going on.
Something we used to like ingrain in people at Chick-fil-A, or I used to. I don't know if anybody else did.
I'm sure they did.
They might. They probably still do. Hopefully that was like the true impact. Is they're still teaching this to this day. Is I would have 14, 15-year-old high schoolers that would come on as their first job. They don't know how to talk to people. They're nervous. They're on a cash register. They've never counted change. And I used to always tell them, nobody will ever remember what you say to them, but they'll remember exactly how you make them feel. And that's probably like a quote by Walt Disney or somebody more special than me.
Angelou.
Yeah, whoever.
It's Maya Angelou. You can
nice fact check. I like it.
But that was huge. And people remembered that, like a high schooler remembering like, okay, I'm 15 years old, but I can still make somebody feel amazing when they walk through that door. And that's because of the way I treat them. It's not what I say to them. Right. It's the same thing with selling. Yeah. It's like, hey, just make someone feel good. Yeah. And encouragement is not truly an encouragement until it's said vocally. And we forget that, right? Like somebody will walk in and they're like, oh, those are some sweet shoes. Like, I love them. But you don't say it. You just think it.
I'm so guilty of this with my wife. Trust me. I tell her all the time, I'm like, yeah. And I've learned this after 24 years. Like, it's not what you think. It's what you say. Honey, you look nice today. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, I thought that in my head, but didn't say it for 12 years. Like, why didn't I say it? That the confirmation is so much better to audibly actually do it. Like you said, I like that that's a nice little sound bite there. It's not actually a compliment until you say it or whatever. Yeah.
And, the culture that we're talking about here, the consistency that you're building is like, when you grow a business, what you really are doing is you want to be on the model of the reorder business. You want people coming back. Right. I think a lot of people, they build out a process where they get people once to buy something and they never follow up. They have no retention process. They have no follow up. There's no lead magnets being a reason for them to come back that might be free or something different. Like the reason Buc-ee's, gets a ton of people in there is not only clean bathrooms. That's really their lead magnet, but then there's like food and all these other things that they can get. Right. And it's like the exact perfect travel experience. Right. So what's the exact perfect shed experience for someone? Right? That's what because they're looking to build something, and building something, it relates to some sort of dream, right? It usually does. It relates to something, some sort of way that you want to live with your family, right? Or develop your household. Like when it comes to like a barn dominium, whatever it could be, it's like there's a vision behind that. And so you're really like a vision experience. People come in, you're like, hey, what's your vision? That would be my first question. Okay. What's your vision? Hey, look, where are you thinking about? Like, where's this fit into your life? If that's clear, you're connecting on this thing called destination, and people will buy because you understand why, and you intimately understand why they're doing this. And so then you can customize. If they feel like you don't know why they're getting it, you're just saying a bunch of stuff, you sound like a broken robot and you sound like you're selling them. And that's the feeling that they're going to get. When you know their destination, they're going to feel like you're on the same team. And a lot of salespeople, what they struggle with is they're just in the way. They're in the way of the sale. They've come to you to buy something. And you've gotten in the way.
And not only are they going to feel like you're on the same team, like you are on the same team.
You are, because
you're bought in, and you have emotional connection to them because you care about them.
Yeah.
And those are the people that like we want to work with.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
If you don't think that way, like you're not going to fit in with us.
Yeah, you're not doing it just to make them feel that way, but that's the feeling that they're going to get. You're doing it because in sales, you're really just trying to help people get what they want. Like that's really all you're trying to do.
You know what I feel like happens a lot of times we are consumers ourselves. We are shoppers. So we tend to, in a sales situation, we tend to sell the way we shop. And we forget that people shop different than us. Like I hear all the time people say, I don't really need an online presence. And you're like, because you don't shop online, that makes sense to you. And that's a fair statement. But so many people do. So now are you meeting the customer kind of where they are? And post-COVID has changed a lot of shopping habits. If you, I try to read as much as I can, and it's kind of amazing at how it ushered in, like the lasting legacy for it for me right now is like what it ushered in online sales and online presence. It forced us to kind of learn, even those who were sort of uncomfortable or didn't want to learn. My dad who still uses a flip phone and swears that I'm a wizard because I can scan a QR code. You know what I mean? Like he thinks I'm a genius, and I'm like, yeah, Dad, I got all the answers. But it's just technology is still imperfect, but it's like science. You're trying to get to the truth. Supposedly, that's what we want to do with it. And we're constantly trying to do better. And I think that's the case with like, your shopping experience. Get out of your own head. The way that you shop isn't always the way you should sell.
Selling is not about you.
Yeah.
Selling is not about you. It's about the client. It's about the prospect, right? Everything you should do should be to make that person feel like $1,000,000, because if your heart is in the right place, it's about making people feel good. It's about impacting people with a kind word. It's not about making the sale. And when it's not about making the sale, you change, because there's no sales pressure or what a friend of mine calls another consultant we're hiring starting June 1st. His name's Brandon. He calls it commission breath.
Mm-hmm.
You want to avoid commission breath at all costs.
Yeah.
It's very clear to people when you're really needing the sale or needing it to close. And I can't tell you the number of times where I've just focused on having fun with people, making them laugh, and I don't care. I couldn't care less if they got something from me. In fact, I used to do this thing called a bathroom close. I just did a video on it on my YouTube channel. At Joe Ignace on YouTube, and it was about how sometimes just leaving or letting people discuss when you're not there is the best way to close somebody. I'd be sitting down in a living room with somebody, $2,000 package, whatever, they're buying something, and it's very clear that like 2 of the 3 people really want to buy, the mom and the daughter, let's say, and the dad's like a little skeptical, little sales resistant. I just knocked on the door. Yeah, they know a bunch of people who bought from me, but he's like, yeah, he's whatever. And so I'm like, would this be really helpful for you guys? Daughter's like, this is the best thing ever, whatever. Mom's like, this would be so helpful. Dad's like, yeah, like it sounds good. Like a short answer like that. And that's my cue. I'm like, hey, no worries. Like, and it seems like this is the one that would be helpful. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I would go through the whole thing. And we're getting to a point where it's kind of stopping. And a sale often dies when it's awkward or it gets like there's nothing else going to change. And so therefore he's not budging, for example. And so I say, you know what? I'm the problem here. So I just tell you, hey, listen, why don't you guys just chat it through? No big deal either way. Like if it's not for you, I can catch the next one. But just chat it through. And if you guys want to get something, just let me know. I just need to use the restroom. So I'll be right back. Y'all just give me one way or the other when I come back. Is that cool with everybody? And then they're like, sure. And so what I'll do is I'll run off to the bathroom. And so what's happening is the 2 people who can really sell dad start selling dad. And I don't have to do anything. In fact, if I were to try to sell that, it'd make it worse.
Yeah.
And so me just using the restroom, a nice biological, release there, and coming back, I couldn't tell you, but it's like 80% of the time they'd be like, yeah, we're going to get the big one. Yeah. We're talking, daddy-daughter relationship here. Mm-hmm. And the women want the thing. So dad caves because he's like, as long as you use it,
You're about to learn, buddy.
Yep.
You're about to learn.
I'm about to have first daughter coming up in July. So, that's something you can do. It's all about them. They need to have a conversation, and they're not going to buy unless they have the conversation. You can either allow them to have the conversation right now, so you can close, right? Get that all aired out, or you can stand there, make it awkward, and they're going to have a conversation in the car on the way home without whatever it is you do, right?
Man, I love it. I think it's 100% accurate. So many times you just got to get out of your way on selling. I know, especially for new salespeople in the industry, it really in any industry, it doesn't really matter. I think a lot of people don't realize like the emotional roller coaster that is involved with sales. And I think that's one thing in the shed industry in particular that's kind of unique is there's so many sales lots across America. And a lot of times, there's not proper sales training, or I say proper, there's not any sales training. It's kind of like, hey, give it your best shot. We're, if you end up being really successful, we're going to really favor you. If you're not, then we're going to kick you to the curb, whatever it looks like, and I think a lot of times like people want that, they desire that, but they don't know where to get that, how to get that. They don't know even they're on an island by themselves. Are they communicating with their peers, to learn more? Do they have an established process? Can they say that I've went through some level of sales training, so that I've been trained to handle this? How do I handle a stall? How do I handle an objection? And they just might not know. And a lot of times they just need someone to bounce those ideas off of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Put some words to it, right? There's things that happen psychologically what you're selling. And, there's what we call pre-approach, which is what you know about a prospect before you talk to them, that warms up what we call the approach, that warms up the introduction, which is the conceptual value proposition or sale, and discovery, that leads into a really good demo, which is essentially backing up what you just said with proof, which a lot of people don't do. They'll make a claim and they'll just expect you to believe it. And I don't buy into that, by the way. It's hard. If you don't show me the proof, I'm not buying. If there's irrefutable proof, I'm in. That's the demo. And then there's this process of price buildup and the value of the investment, not just a price delivery, which most people are just like, yep, here's what it is. Here's value. Here's no proof, but here's the price. Do you want to get it? And, that's not closing. So they're skipping a portion called the summary and trial close, that really relates and recaps the value, because our attention spans are quite short. And if we don't know something or something's new to us, it takes us a second to chew on and make sure it's something we understand, which trial closing helps with. It slows down the process. It makes sure that it's something that's really helpful, and we can ask questions in those moments for the clients if they're not sure. And then the actual close, like how do we ask for the sale in a way that's endearing to the person and doesn't feel like abrupt, but is going through what's going on in their brain, which is like, okay, I'd like to buy. What are the next steps, right? And how does that look? And how does it all fit into place that when I make this purchase, I know it's going to go well? And for example, with the abrasives company we're working with right now, we're working on massive sales with them, with each client. And one of the things we've implemented is what we call performance reviews. And so we have them with, it's got to be a certain threshold of a large client, let's say. But basically, hey, go in there and let's sit down with the client, like help them make sure everything's implemented well, give them support once a week for 15 minutes, troubleshoot. And your claim isn't, hey, listen, the first time you use this product is going to be the best thing you ever see. No, go back, do it the opposite. The first time you use this will be the worst you'll ever get. It'll always get better. And after 30 days, it'll be so good that you won't ever want to leave, right? With those touch points, just letting them know that we're going to help helps people feel confident they can go ahead and buy, because they know that you're not going to let them down. And that's that relationship trust.
So this is a nice little glimpse into like what someone could expect if they want to sign up with Joe and his team at the Knowledge Gap. Again, you do have a book out. I've got your book. Haven't read it yet, but we'll throw a link in the newsletter to your book. The problem with potential, right?
Problem with potential: how to stop overthinking and get out of your own way. Wrote it for entrepreneurial style people to learn how to reach their potential and overcome that little voice within that at my sales company used to be called Mr. Mediocrity, but I like to call it the cynic within.
Yeah, very nice, man. I can't wait to read it. Yeah, we've been so busy, but we're so excited to be working with you guys. We've really been wanting to do something consultative. I just think a lot of people in the industry, and you can run a gambit here from small to very large companies, they need professional sales training. They need organized sales training. They need training that works, that helps. But then, they want to grow their revenue, and some things are beyond that. Some things are learning about marketing, exploring the other opportunities that are out there that they've yet to explore to be able to explode their business. Should they want to see growth? What I've learned with Shed Geek Rentals, this really probably surprised me more than anything, because we were just kind of, coming in kind of mediocre and just kind of small and very non-aggressive. You have to be prepared for success, just the same as you have to be prepared for failure. We're all used to failing, so it's easy to fail. You kind of prepare because you're like, I got to have a backup plan. But no one ever says, I have to have a backup plan for if this goes really well, because you're just kind of hoping it goes good. And we went in humble and we were like, oh my goodness, now all of a sudden we're like, we need to change our strategy altogether in a good way, because we need to prepare and plan for success. So when you actually do see training realized, when you see growth realized, you got to be prepared to handle that. And that's like, you shouldn't go into it thinking it won't work, but I can tell you that we underestimated and went in humble, and it's really surprised us. And I think that's what people are going to get whenever they start working with the consultative side of Shed Geek and our partners and affiliates like Joe and Woody and so much more of the team that we want to have on fairly regularly now with this podcast expansion, and Susan, the Shed Gal, doing Mondays, and Sam Ambassador doing Fridays. And of course, they're kind of speaking in the niches and areas that they're really most familiar with. Shed Gal's going to be doing a lot with the barndominiums, post frame, and square tubing, metal carport side of things. And Sam, of course, is the shed hauler extraordinaire, operates the Shed Hauler Brotherhood, or big part of that, and the bash that they have every year. And he attends the local barbecues across the country. And then we're going to be talking a lot about sales and marketing on Wednesday. So we want to have more guests on. We want to have Brandon on at some point. Want to get Woody on again sometime and really have him on to where he can, if you want to have that one-on-one time directly, man, I want to dig into your roofing experience. And I think there's so much value that you can add to this industry because of that experience that you've had. We have another coach that's a friend of ours that actually came out of the same industry. And I find it very unique the way that industry is sort of blown up. And of course, we're friends with Shield Wall Media and what they do over at Post Frame Builder. We'll be at the Branson show June 19th and 20th for Post Frame, but even subscribing to their Roll Builder and Roll Forming magazine, it just sort of complements what we already do anyway. So, man, I can't wait to just keep this relationship going further and farther. And believe it or not, we're at an hour already, and it happens so quick. I just can't imagine how.
I know it goes fast.
We're all talkers, and that's the hard part. Is we're doing medium form content. We need to do a Joe Rogan podcast of 3 hours where we really talk and break this down. But let's just keep having you back, and let's go through the process more and more. Maybe we don't give away too much, but we give away enough that maybe they want to call and book a discovery with you guys. How would they go about that if they wanted to?
Yeah, I guess just a couple of ways. I mean, it's going to be on the email, the newsletters. If you're not signed up for the newsletter, sign up for the newsletter.
That's
It'll
right.
be on there. But really just the simplest way is go to knowledgegapconsulting.com. On the homepage, there's going to be different options for what you might be looking for, what your needs are. And if when in doubt, just go there, click discovery session, and you can book a time with us, give us a call. Phone numbers on the website, and we can talk through what you might be looking for. Everything we do is customized solutions. So just know that everything that we're talking about on this call is how we're going to be working with you and treating you. And we just want to work with people that want to work with us. We're very light closers, people that see the value in consulting and growing the revenue. They're going to enjoy hanging out with us.
I think so too. I let everybody at the end of the show ask questions. I spend a lot of time trying to ask questions throughout the show. And I like, the little fun segment at the end to kind of just talk and ask questions. I noticed, Woody, you said you're a girl dad. I'm a girl dad. Sounds like Joe's going to be before too long. Just had our first granddaughter. I know you guys are thinking, there's no way he's old enough to be a grandpa, but it's true. It's true. Yeah, I am. But I want to give you the mic to ask some questions, whether it's podcast related, shed related, it doesn't really matter. Whatever questions you guys have, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to answer, and then we'll wrap up here and we'll schedule another one for the future. But what questions would you have, trying to keep it fun?
I have a random question. Do you know True Metal Supply? Have you heard of True Metal Supply?
I have heard of True Metal Supply. Gosh, I'm trying to think of the connection, but I can't think of.
Blake, Adam, and Mason are the owners over there, and they are some good guys.
Are they? Where are they out of? In the Knoxville area?
They're out of Knoxville, but they're feel like they're pretty well known nationally. They've got a really big following on Instagram, and yeah, they're just solid guys. So if you haven't connected with them, I'd love to share their contact info with you.
Absolutely, man. Would love to chat with them. There's going to be
they're huge in post frame, so
okay. Yeah, excellent.
They're really growing that side of their business right now.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Would definitely love to chat with them. I love what those guys do. We're really getting into that side a little bit more, understanding a little bit more, because there again, if you go up north, sometimes I'll say shed. You may think of a mini barn. You may think of like a portable shed, which is typically what we're discussing. But if you go up to Michigan, you say a shed, I've got a buddy who said, yeah, I've got a 90 by 120 shed out back. And I'm
That's
like,
right.
so the name shed kind of becomes synonymous with a lot of different things. And it's geographical in some ways. But
What started to happen down here too, where like I would get called out to look at somebody's shed roof and it'd be a 50 by 50 building. I'm like, oh, this is a normal size roof here.
Yeah, it's a much bigger job than anticipated. Yeah. So it's unique, and maybe we should have called ourselves Construction Geek. Maybe we were short sighted or something early on, but it's just sheds and relatable shed content. So like, I think Gary was telling me over at Garage Shed Carport Builder. He said, we did a survey recently, and we found that like 40% of shed guys also build post frame. So I mean, like a lot of times people are looking to diversify their income or diversify their options, or maybe they need to justify buying a roll former, so they got to get into other work to be able to do that. So, if you just build caskets, maybe you're a casket builder. I had a friend who built caskets. He said, I build underground furniture, but I didn't know what he meant at first. But if you're a casket builder, maybe you maybe you dive into other stuff too. But maybe you just do caskets. And it can be that way whenever people think of like, you're in sheds. But man, this industry really bleeds over into so much else that we want to be able to cover all those topics and have conversation, add value to people's day more than anything. That's super important, and create good content that people want to listen to.
We feel blessed to be on the show, and thanks so much for having us. And, we'll definitely get Woody and Brandon and Josh on here, a bunch of other consultants, and go Sheds, right? Go Vols.
Yeah,
go Vols.
Go, yeah.
Offensive on this.
Yeah. We need to get like a shed down, maybe at Tennessee State, like down on the grounds or something like that. I've seen where people do that, where they'll put sheds even at like the big sporting events and stuff like that. I actually stayed when I was down in Nashville. Believe it or not, there's a RV parking lot that's downtown, rooftop, right down by the Vols Stadium. And we stayed there at the last trade show that we were at. And you guys had 6 inches of snow on the ground. What on earth is going on in Knoxville that you had? I left Illinois where it was sunny and came down to where there was 6 inches of snow on the ground. I was so disappointed. But
that was a weird winter.
Not the norm.
I know. I love Knoxville. We love Tennessee. It is our second home, and it would be our primary home if we ever moved. We love Nashville. We love Knoxville. We love everything in between. Love Chattanooga as well too. So that whole triangle there, guys. I appreciate you guys. I like you. You're just good, fun guys to hang out with, and I really think our audience will enjoy that. And I really think if they do the discovery call, sometimes it's just picking up the phone, calling, and starting a conversation. And you'll be surprised. You might find more in common than you realize. But I think you guys' heart is really in the right place, and we operate our entire podcast off of trust, and we want to have trusted partners, and I believe that you guys are that. I can't wait to do big things, man. Hopefully in a year from now, we talk about how we've signed up 20 people to consultative service, and that'll be an awesome conversation. So add value, add more than you can take away, man. That's what we want to accomplish. So appreciate you being on today. And Joe, I'm gonna get off of here, but man, let's talk about getting something set up for the other crew.
Sounds good. Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Hey, this is Mo Lunsford in sunny Union Grove, North Carolina, and we want to say thank you to all the guests and listeners.